Good morning, everyone. I'm Josh. I'm going to be leading today's morning devotion. We are going to be reading out of Exodus 14, 10 through 15. First, let's start with the word of prayer. And dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful day today, and I pray you open our hearts and minds that we may receive this message that you have in store for us, and that I may explain it in the best way possible. So, not a lot of time, limited, so we will start at Exodus 14:10. I will read through this and I'll circle back and I'll talk about it. So, Exodus 14:10. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were very afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Why have you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it has been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. So I find this to be one of the most important life lessons in the Bible, personally. For me, and I find it applicable to a lot of different situations. First, I want to point out my favorite verse in this, verse 11. They say, there's no graves in Egypt, so did you take us out to the wilderness to kill us? And I find that funny because you're reading the Bible and it's meant to be you think of the Bible and it's a dry book, but this is like a sarcastic verse. This is like something you would say to your parents when you think that it's something stupid and you're just trying to be smart with them. And I find that so funny that it's in the middle of the Bible, because Egypt's known for their massive, elaborate graves, and they're just like, no, there weren't any graves in Egypt. You have to take us out here to kill us instead. So I just find that funny. Anyway, so I want to point out right after there, it says, would it not have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness? That's important, and this is where the message in this that I want to share with you today comes out. And the important words to remember, faith looks forward, but we think backwards. So now this sounds confusing a little bit, and understandably, but Moses was acting on faith to lead the people. He was looking forward. So they're in Egypt right now, and they're scared of Pharaoh, but he's also the one feeding them. So they're in a weird spot where they're scared, but also Egypt's providing for them. So they're in a safe place, but they're also in a fearful place. And we come across that a lot in our life where, we don't know a better way to meet a need than what's in front of us. And there are better ways a lot of times, but we don't know them. So instead of stepping out of our comfort zone and going on to something better, we'll hold on to things that are actually harming us just because they can meet a need. And it happens a lot, whether it's, it could be drugs, people you're hanging out with, it could be anything. And it's a pretty hard place to be when you're leaving something you fear, and you get out and you realize I was more comfortable in the fear than I am now. And that's just because of the whole humans think backwards, but faith looks forwards. And as humans, we only know what we've been through, and we reflect on our current situation based off everything we've already been through. So in this case, the Israelites, they're leaving Egypt, they're going into the wilderness. They've never been there before, and they come upon the Red Sea eventually, and they're at a standstill. They don't know where to go, and there's no food, and they don't have any context for what's about to happen. And as we know, reading this is where Moses parts the Red Sea and they can cross. But in the time, the Israelites don't have a concept for what could happen. And I don't think any of us would. It's because it's in the future. We don't know. So that's where faith comes in. You have to believe that there's a better path forward than where you're at now. But as humans, we don't, and we don't know. And it's part of our safety net in our brains that we trust our our past experiences to show what our future will be like. And we'll go through things and then we get uncomfortable and we know what we've done before and we want to run back to it. And it's something to be very careful of because, for instance, it's very easy to leave a place and you'll get somewhere you were very excited for and suddenly it's different. And you're in a different place, you don't know anyone, you don't know anything, and you've never been there for it, so you don't have the context for it, so it's scary, and it happens all the time. And all you want to do is go back to where you were, even though that place you're at now is a step forward, and you're going in the right direction, but you're scared, and you just want to run back to the thing that was scaring you before, and you're praying for the things that you were praying away 2 weeks ago. And I think right now is a really good example of that, where we're just praying, excuse me, we're just praying for what we're calling normal to come back again right now. And we want to be back in a situation where, you know, we can go out in public and go hang around tons of people. Well, I don't know why you want to do that, but if you want to do that, to those kind of people. And we want these things to go back to normal, but we don't think that 3 months ago we were praying, I don't like the situation I was in, and now people will do anything to be in that situation again. And it's just because that's where they're comfortable. But faith tells us that we shouldn't be looking back for what's normal. We should be looking forward, and we should be looking to. We don't know what normal is, but our faith can show us a way forward. So even though bad things seem to be happening around you, that God will provide you a way. And that's what Moses talks about here. And says, and Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." So Moses is a good example here of putting your faith before your thought. And that's pretty hard to do. And I don't know anyone who doesn't struggle with that personally. But it's definitely one of the harder things, and also like most important things in the Bible, because we all are constantly going to something new and in new situations, and things are changing. So I guess the moral of the story is we are very similar to the Israelites. We just want familiarity all the time, and familiarity kind of contradicts faith, because in faith you're throwing away what you're comfortable with and stepping out onto a new, you know, you're stepping into your own Red Sea and hoping what happens. You know? And you don't necessarily know the way. And Jesus will show you how the way, and he'll provide for you. And it's saying, you put your trust in him, even in situations of uncertainty, he will provide. And he does. And he shows time and time again throughout the Bible. And I find it incredible. But it's hard to change your mindset in that situation, from going from running back to what you fear because it's comfortable, and moving forward to what you fear because you know that's your way out. And I guess that's all the main point I want to get across here. Just have faith for what you're going through, and even when things sometimes are getting better, it might feel like you're moving backwards, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to move backwards before you can go forward, and sometimes things will get worse before they get better, because you know, time and time again throughout the Bible, whether it's, you know, Lazarus coming back from the dead, you know, Jesus could have prevented him from dying if he wanted, but he wanted that situation to get so much worse so that everyone knew that his hand was involved. And it's something to point out, and your life just seems like it's getting so beat up constantly, and everything's going the wrong direction, that the only way out is through faith. And through that struggle, and through the outcome of that struggle, when you come out on the other side of it, everyone around you can see how your faith helped you through that, as long as you hold to it and you remain faithful. And it's hard to do. It's definitely a challenge, but it's something we can all work towards, and it's a good life lesson here. So that's all I got. I hope everyone has a good day. We'll end in some prayer, and yeah. Dear Lord, thank you for the time with these kids today, and I pray we have a good day today, and that we are able to keep our faith in the forefront of our thought and not let fear control